What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review. This was episode of Sword Art Online. Yo. This episode was fucking hype, ladies and gentlemen. Like, bruh. Yo, like, the animation in the first half was awesome, but then we had that amazing ending where Asuna descended like the goddess she is. Excellent shit. But we'll talk about Asuna when we get there, unfortunately. I want to talk about Asuna right now, dude, and just gush all over it. But we'll have to wait. We got a whole episode we gotta get through first before we get to the good shit. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, and one thing before I jump right in, I gotta say this. Low-key, I think this might actually be better than the Gabriel episode. Low-key, like, mostly comes down to Asuna, and y'all know how biased I am towards Best Girl, so, take my opinion as you will, but low-key, I might think this is actually low-key kind of better than the Gabriel episode. Low-key. Low-key. Anyway. Without further ado, let's just jump right in, ladies and gentlemen. Also, apologies for the delay of this review. We had finals this week. I'm finally done. Well, I'm not completely out of the woodworks yet. Got my math project left, but I'm pretty much good. So, yeah, just wanted to give you guys a Anyway, let's just jump right in. So we start with, also, if you guys hear anything outside my voice, like you hear someone drilling or anything, or voices, my mom actually got this guy to fix some thermostats, but apparently not working recently. So, and the dudes that work, and where the thermostat is, where to fix it, is not too far from this room, and these walls aren't exactly thick. So, if you guys hear anything else, that's why. Just wanted to throw that out there. If you guys hear anything like, what the fuck is all that drilling? So, but anyway, let's jump right into the episode. So we start the episode off. We start where we left off last week with Gabriel seeing Alice. He says, Alicia, this time I will capture the girl, grab the light cluster, and and find where which floodlight holds that girl's soul, and savor it to my heart's content. Yeah, Gabriel looks like a bit of a sexual pleasure from this kind of shit. And although the way he said it too does make me believe that there probably is some connection between Alice and Alicia, which is what I theorized in last week, or I guess my last episode review for SAL. That's what I mentioned there. So that could end up being, so there might actually be a connection between these two. I think there is, honestly. But anyway, let's continue. So then we get over to Alice with Bierkoli, I believe the dude's name is. Uncle had to look it up just to remember what his name was. I looked him up on Mal. I believe that was his name, Bierkoli, if I remember correctly. So anyway. So we get over there. So the dude's using like these two like crystal balls, I guess, to use like a telescope, or at least this fantasy version of a telescope. He's like, man, that dark Emperor Venka sure is obsessed with you, little one. He's like, well, it's better than being ignored, I guess. And so he's like, okay, let me go over the plan again. So you plan on having us, along with the raid unit, keep the enemy away. And he's also, and by the way, Gabriel, the man didn't set up half his army to take care of us. He set the whole fucking army. And also, one other thing. After he had the little thing about, Dad telling about that he'll make Alice's fluck like his, he called him, he used like that talking skull thing that's right next to his throne, which I don't even know how exactly that thing works, because when Alice was talking, its mouth was moving too, so I'm not sure how exactly this thing actually worked. But anyway, he told all the guys to go see him, and he's going to send in the Pudgilants, I think is what they're called. I'm just gonna call them the Orange People, because I'm probably butchering their name, so I'm just gonna call them the Orange People. So I'm just gonna call, or maybe I'll just call them the Fighters, whatever. Either way, those guys are in the lead, along with then they also had a couple levels before then. They're all gonna take over and find Alice and, of course, take her unscathed. So back where we are with Alice. So Alice says, so he tells them we're going to send the raid unit, we're going to get them away from a death distance, and then take out as much force as they can. She's like, yeah, we've already taken care of half their army, so if we take that, and maybe we also get Vetka while we're at it, they might be able to open up to a truce. And he's like, yes, but then Bjerkli is like, man, but who would take over? I wonder. And he's like, if only that. I think he said like Shelka is the dude's name is. You know, the guy that died a few weeks back with Gabriel that had that awesome episode with the art animation looked fucking killer, man. Anyway, it looks fucking killer. So yeah, it's like I'm assuming it's probably him because he also mentioned how he was going to try and make up truce with him and Bjerkli because even though they don't like each other, they can talk. So I'm assuming that's who he was talking about. Anyway, but he's like, and then she asked him like, "You think he's dead?" And he's like, "Yeah, I can't see him in the army." So yeah, which is true. That man is dead. And his girlfriend is in a box of ice somewhere, probably in his room where he does God knows what with that head. Lord have mercy. Anyway, so then the green dude, I forget. I'm sorry, guys. I forget. So I mentioned this before in other videos, but I am shit with these, especially when they're in a language I don't natively speak. So apologies. I can't remember the dude's name. I tried looking him up on Mal. He isn't there. I looked up the characters on for SEO Alicization, War of the Underworld, and his name wasn't in there. At least I didn't see it. So apologies, guys. I can't remember the dude's name. So the disc guy. So he comes in there, tells them that there's no problem using the designated spot in the south for our ambush, and that everything is all good. And Bjerkli tells them, "Hey man, your dragon must be tired. Make sure to give it plenty of food and water." And I think he also said to let it rest for a bit. And so he goes on their way. Then a little bit extra stuff right before we get into the raid, I gotta give some major props to Reki Kawahara. This man, like in this season alone, has made probably the best female characters we have had in all of SAO. We had, of course, we had Alice, who she's been great. Asli, has been, Asli, you guys know how much I love her. We had all the female integrity knights, like I forget the chick's name, but the girl with the light that could use light as that uses the light beam. She's pretty best. You guys already saw me losing my mind praising that one chick that just stopped that dude's hammer and her fucking arms were breaking and her legs were breaking and she starts crying blood. Y'all know how hyped I was here. And this next chick, we eating, boys. We eating. We'll talk about her in a moment. But anyway, so he says so, and then he goes on about, of course, what happens with the trials to become Integrity Knights, the ritual about them freezing your memories and everything. It's like, that shouldn't allow, but I'm gonna miss having youngsters like him, join the Order. He's like, and I was like, I don't think that ritual is the only way for one to become a Integrity Knight. And she kind of pats Eldarine's, I think the dude's name was, Eldarine's whip. Which I hope to God she used that. Imagine that woman starts dual wielding fucking Zenpon Zakura and do we have any Bankai? Do we have any Zanpakutos and Bleats that kind of work like whips? Zabi Maru, I guess. So she'll be dual wielding those two. That'd be some hype shit if she did. But we'll see. We'll see if that actually happens. Anyway, so after that, we then head over to the battlefield where it's about to go down, boys. So we see the orange people come charging in, and we see some great animation here, like the dude jumping from one rock to the next one, and it kicks through another rock. It looked amazing. But then, as they're running, we see this one soldier. Before that, we see this Integrity Knight come up to Alice and Bjerkli, and both of them just look at her with complete fucking shock. She just looks bored out of her mind. She looks so bored. She's just like, yeah, whatever. Just super bored. It's back to where it was. So she comes over there, and so then she comes over there by the Integrity, so then she goes over there and sits in the battlefield. The dude sees her, he puts his arm out, and then they all stop. And he's like, "Who the hell are you?" She I don't know why she does, but she kind of looks up in her thing around. I think her she looks at her left and kind of moves her head to the side, pivots it up a bit, and she's like, I am here to stop you from. I am here to stop you from advancing. He's like, ha! You couldn't stop a breath. It's like, wait, are you one of those knights that only does with I think he said with element. I think he said with spiritual magic. I think is what he said. And she does that thing again. Excuse me, what does this do? Is this just a little quirk she has where she looks up? Is she trying to think? Is this her thinking about the response? Because I know when you think or you try to remember something, you look at your left side. Your eye goes to the left side, or I think it might have been your right side. I'm not sure. I forget which one. I saw that. I saw some video about that a few months ago, actually. So it could just be that, and she just does the head tilt added or whatever. Either way, she tilts her head, does it again. She's like, "I'm not very good with spiritual magic," and so then they kind of have a little bit more of a back and forth before one of the other girls. This girl comes in there who I won't lie, is pretty cute. Don't like what happened to her. Happens kind of such a little. Was it just me, or did anyone else think that she looked like Stofflo from the Fate series? Was that just me, or was it just the hair? I'm not sure, man, because she looked like him. Low-key. I'm not going to lie, she low-key looked at him, but she was pretty cute at Smash. So anyway, she just comes charging in. Oh, before that, actually, a couple of things I almost forgot to mention. When Asuna, or, yeah, when Alice and Bjerkli see the guys charging in there, they mention how that these guys are like, you know, that they're like, you know, they're a piece of work, and that they're fine in a fist fight, like they take down from a fist fight, but they can like not take any damage from swords. And she's like, refuse to take damage. That's what they exactly said. They refuse to take damage. And it's like they go on about, you know, that a sword is nothing to fear. This becomes their willpower, and that ends up letting them hard in their skills to where pretty much deflects all blades. Because now, as we know this, we know this is obviously work with the cardinal system, because of course with the cardinal system it's all about your pride, your will, strength, which of course is very much Reki Kawahara is explaining Kirito's God mode, you know, and why another bunch of other characters could do what they did, and why other characters kind of couldn't do, could have trouble like Kirito's master couldn't beat that one guy because she didn't have enough self-confidence. The dude had too much self-confidence in himself, but she eventually managed to beat him. She eventually managed to beat him at, you know, around the beginning of Alicization last year. So just throwing that out there, you know, that's obviously we're seeing more work on the cardinal system in place. Anyway. So Kirito, so as I was going, so she sits there, and so then she comes charging towards her. She pulls out her blade already by this point. Which, by the way, the blade is hella thin, like hella thin. Like if you turn it like front ways, and the blade just like disappears. It's that fucking thin. Like that's a thin ass fucking blade, if you ask me. So the dude, and you can only vaguely see from this like light reflection. You can see light reflection coming out from the blade. So she comes charging towards her. She puts her sword up, and her sword in like, you know, the middle part of her fist clashes with the blade. Now it doesn't. I had to rewind this a couple times to figure out how she did this, because at first I thought the blade like bended or something, but then we see the blade kind of like disappear for a bit, and see it reappear like around behind her fist, already ahead of it. And then we see her hand perfectly get sliced in half, and we see one. I'm surprised. Now we only saw one side of her hand arm fall to the ground, where she starts grabbing and be like, ah! And she starts screaming out pain. Now it took me a couple of times to realize that she legit cut right through it. Cut right through her hand, cut through her entire arm. It took me a couple of times to rewind a couple times for me to actually catch that. But anyway, so yeah, she just cuts right through her arm, and she just starts screaming. There's tons of blood. I have been shocked with how much blood that we've seen in SAO this time. So I guess A1 Pictures managed to get a good time slot for War of the Underworld with how much blood we see in this show. So anyway. So she's on the floor grabbing, and then the main head honcho guy comes in there. He's like, "All right, let's go." Or actually, right before that, getting a little ahead of myself. No. Right here, she just comes charging towards the other guys and just starts slashing them up. But actually, before she starts going ham, and I'll talk more about that animation in a second, we get a quick flashback between her and the administrator, Queenella, where we find out a little bit more of her character, that she keeps to herself, and the reason for that is because she has like this murderous impulse. So she's essentially a psychopath or a serial killer, whichever you want to call her. She's kind of like Patrick Bateman, I would honestly say, that kind of person, that kind of psychopath, where they're very quiet, keep to themselves, but they're always thinking about how I'm gonna fucking cut you. She's always thinking of ways how to fillet a person, you know, how she's gonna cut them down. She has this murder impulse just to slash and slash and slash. So Queenella is like, all right, let me help you out there. So when she bestows upon her Zanpakuto, yes, we're gonna keep on. Yes, I'm keeping with the Bleach references. Queenella shows her this flower that she got from the Dark Territory from a recon's mission for her. She said it was like filled with spiritual energy, and that she'll use this to use as her divine object, which of course will become her weapon of choice. So she turns it in, which of course turns into a sword, which is we've seen earlier on the episode, and she hands it to her, and that's saying that this will help you go on slash on, and that this might help you figure out how to get rid of that murderous impulse she has, or whatever she has. I forget exactly, but anyway, now let's talk about the good shit, that animation. So, as I mentioned, she comes charging towards Kitty. So she comes charging with that, and she just starts slashing like a mad woman. And my God, the animation here, Oh, and one other thing I got to give a huge shout out to my girl, Yuki Kanjura. I believe that's how you say her name. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But I've already mentioned before how much I fucks with the soundtrack for SEO. I love the music in here, and I love her soundtrack for both this show, for SEO, which she's done in the past, and of course the amazing work she did for Erased, which you guys know I love that show too. But I gotta give her huge props for this show, because the music, because their theme that these guys have, the Orange Peel, these like street fighters, these brawlers, they get this bitchin' guitar solo, man, and it just sounds epic. And right after this, we get to hear more of that amazing theme for like Gabriel's guys. That that song. I love that song. I think this is probably the best SEO soundtrack we've gotten since the first one, because that original SEO soundtrack was fucking killer, man. So many amazing tracks from it. But what we've got in Alicization, man. I don't low key might say this is actually better. If you ask me, low key. I'm not, because that action theme, the they always used for like those big action seat pieces. That song was epic, man. But I might low key prefer the music from Alicization more than the Underworld low key. So yeah. But anyway, after that we head over back to where Kirito and all the other guys are, and they're waiting for the ambush to take place. Which we then see one of the guys Gabriel's bro, I forget the dude's name, so apologies for that. Come in there, slash the guy's throat, puts him down, and then the theme starts playing, that boom. I love that song, man. It starts playing, and then he starts kind of going around, taking care of some other guys, and taking them out. And then we see Ronnie leave the trailer to, I guess, I don't forget exactly what she was doing outside, but she comes out there, and the dude's like, yes. Good. Yes, come closer. Oh wait, my bad. Ronnie comes out after this part, which I'm sorry for getting a little ahead of myself, you guys know, because y'all know what happens here. But anyway, so let's rewind back. So we're rewind back to when dudes, back when Gabriel's bro is taking out the guys, like, alright, 5 ladies, and you got that scene of the like, I'm gonna talk more about the music in a minute, so I'll just save my comments for there. But I love this song. Anyway, so we get a flashback to when he's with Gabriel, and he's like, hey bro, should we stop delegating and rig some of our havoc ourselves? He's like, alright. And then he pulls this little light from his finger, points it towards this forest area, which is where the supply corpse is. He's like, alright, stay here. He's like, oh, something fun happened? Yeah, have fun. PKing, that is. And so then we get, and my God, the music here, they play a little bit of extra of the song right here, and I love this song. Oh, so anyway, we then head over back with Sheta. And she's just slashing and dashing, slashing and she's just slashing and what was it? Slashing and dashing, was it? Or slashing and clashing, whatever it was. She's just slicing and dicing. That's what I was thinking of. Slicing and dicing. She's just slicing and dicing these guys' arms or legs off. And he's like, and then the leader of the guys is like, don't get so full of yourself. And she comes charging towards her. They kind of have a little bit of a clash for a bit. She tries to go in there for the attack, but the dude actually goes in there and goes for her shin, which of course, we all know, getting kicked in the shin hurts like hell. Because it's just bone, there ain't no meat, there ain't no tissue, it's just your bone, man. Ugh, I'm sure we all hate getting kicked in the shin. ugh. So the man goes for her shin, and we see some arms, arms going to go. Actually, it's right here. Yeah. He goes for the shin, and then which takes out some of her armor. Then he goes for another punch, and she catches it with her fist. I think the fist happened first, and then he went for the shin. By the way, she goes for her fist, she blocks it with her hand, and then she's like, to me, your armor is like a paper, and then you just see the armor on her arm just shatter into a million pieces, just come right when you get to see her arm. So then the dude goes in there, he's like, and then he looks over and it's like, man, they weren't lying when they said you integrity knots are like demons, and it's like crazy, and and she's like, because he also called her lady, he's like, I'm older than you. He's like, yeah, you guys don't age for decades, right? What if I called you grandma? So it'd be okay if I call you grandma? And she's like, I'll allow it. So, and then so then he looks over to his other comrades. He says, just look what you did to my comrades. He looks around, and he's just like, and he's just shocked because all of his comrades are still alive. None of them are dead. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised some of them died from blood loss, but they're not. But she didn't kill them on first slash. All she did was just cut off some of their arms, some of their legs, some of them left with their limbs completely intact. But he's like, you bitch! You weren't going out alone, were you? That's unforgivable. What are we, your training dummies? And then the Smiths are kind of like jumping around and like a big before, and then the music, the music, Yuki, God, I love this woman's music. It's so fucking good. I can praise the music, this song right here. It's awesome, man. It was very tribal, like, speaking of tribal, Hellblade 2 trailer. I haven't played the first Hellblade, but that song that whoever was singing in that trailer was, that was some hype shit. I would like to hear the full version of that song whenever it released. But anyway, speaking of music, when is the soundtrack for Alicization War of the Underworld releasing? I'm gonna need that soundtrack this instant because I need that track. I need Gabriel's groove theme. I need the soundtrack for this show. It is so fucking good. I absolutely love this soundtrack, man. It's so fucking good. Anyway, let's move on for that. So the dude is like getting hyped up, moving around, swinging his arms around, getting hyped. I'm like, yo, are we about to see some earthbending? We gonna see some fucking earthbending here, boys? Or are we going to see some earthbending, some Avatar shit? We're gonna be like, yeah, motherfuckers, I want your Avatar too. Don't worry. And I'm like, yo, let's go get hot. But then he bulks up and his fists are engulfed with flames. And so then the dude goes after there, and they charge right towards each, and then she goes charging towards him. Lance tries to go for a couple hits. She's blocking his attacks. Manages to cut him a little bit, but he punches her right in her center chest piece. And of course, the big explosion happens, and he jumps back. We see her again. Clothes are pretty much almost completely ripped off at this point. He's like, oh, now you're starting to look like a real fighter. And she's like, man, I must say. She's like, and then she just kind of rips off. I think it was like her skirt. Just rips it off, and he's like, and so she's like, man. He's like, you are incredibly hard. It was hard to find anywhere to slash. What, you thought I was going to say something else? Get your heads out of the gutters, you sick bastard. Get your heads out of the gutter. Anyway, so then he's like, you're a little bit softer now. I swear to God, Ricky, you trying to say something here, man? Throwing some sexual innuendos in here? But she's like, what did you say? Alright, now I'm gonna go all out on you. I'm like, fam, that wasn't all out. So at this point, now the man has blue flames. And he also says, stop looking so sleepy all the time. And then she just rubs her cheek a bit, then her forehead, and she's just back. And then, what was it? Was she trying to relax her muscles? Like, what the hell was the purpose of that? Anyway, so he goes in blue flames. She's in position, and they both come charging towards each other. She goes for a downward slash, and while he just goes over a punch, they're like his fists and her sword clash for a moment. They kind of have a little bit of internal monologue. She's wondering like, why am I like this? He's like a little. I think he's like hard. I forget exactly what she said completely, but she was pretty much like, I'm actually enjoying this. She's like, why have I not killed him yet? Why haven't I gone already and just cut his head off? Why am I just kind of, I guess, playing along, I guess, with him? She's like, no, this is actually kind of fun. She likes it. the dude's like, she's like, she's so, her body's so misleading because she looks so frail, but yet here she is, just be this ultra badass. And so and then he sees like there's like a little cut that forms on his fist. He's like, oh, I'm getting overpowered. Well, this isn't a bad way to die. So then at the last possible moment, one of his other buddies comes in there and gets him out of there. And he's like, hey, what the hell are you doing, man? How dare you? Let me die an honorable death here. So then afterwards, she goes and leaves, and he says, hey lady, or like, hey woman. He's like, oh, you're looking like he calls her woman. Somebody, I forget exactly what he said else, but then she says, you called me woman. I'd like you to stop that. And I'm like, oh, so you're okay with calling grandma, but calling you a woman, no, that's going too far. I wonder if she has the same reason of not wanting to be called woman, the same reason why Mordred doesn't like to be called woman. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. Anyway, so he's like, so then she goes on her, so then she calls up her dragon, and she just kind of just grabs one of his little like toes or whatever, and then he just goes off. And he's like, hey, what's your name? And he tells her that it's Shia, I believe. So, yeah, and then we head over to Ronnie, where the real good shit happens, boys. That good shit. So Ronnie's kind of looking around. She's kind of frightened a little bit, I noticed. And then Gabriel's bro comes in from behind. And then Ronnie actually, surprisingly, grabs her sword and thrusts it behind her where he is. And he's like, what the? And then she turns around, has her sword up, and she's ready to fight. He's like, hey, baby. He actually said that all in English. How'd you spot me? And then he says, and then she tells him that my senpai told me not to always trust my eyes, but to sense everything around me. So, hey! So Kirito's training started to pay off. And then, so then she says, enemy attack! Then comes Tisei and, of course, a bunch of other soldiers. And they're good. Then we had first thing, that the dude might have fucked himself, and that Ronnie and Tisei got the upper hand. No siree, they do not. So then he says, alright, my guys, time to play. And then a bunch of his soldiers comes out of the woods, and the odds aren't so much in their favors anymore. Then we head over to Renly. Renly was his name. That was his name. Renly goes over, and he's looking around. And then he hears about what's going on, about that. He's like, and then he's kind of like freaking out. He's like, oh, what am I going to do? Should I take my guys out? But then our plans will be, then we'll reveal plans to the enemy, but isn't our, rush already, or our ambush already compromised? Shit. He can't think. He's trying to figure out what to do. But then, then Briocoli comes in there and says, who would have thought they would have figured out our plan to head south? And then he's like, and then so he tells him to I actually forget what he told Redley to do. I think he told him to just go back to the battlefield or something, or maybe just to stay there. I'm not sure. But he told Alice to go over there to the supply corps and help them out. He is going to take care of the troops, which is about 5,000 of them, by himself. How he plans on doing that, I don't know, but it'll probably be some hype-looking animation. So, and then we head over back to Tisei and Ronnie. Ronnie getting her ass kicked. The dude slashing at her with, and her defense. My God, is it pitiful? Like, I'm gonna cut her some slack because one, she's obviously a very inexperienced fighter. She definitely doesn't look like the strong, definitely doesn't have that I guess Eye of the Tiger, you could say, of that fighter sense, kind of like guys like Yujo has. Alice, she doesn't have that just yet, because they're still just Padawans at this point. And three wasn't that long ago where she was almost raped. So I'm gonna cut her some slack on her shit defense. But anyway, she loses her sword. The dude, she's on the ground. I'm like, Reki, don't you fucking do it! Don't you fucking do it! I'm always so fucking paranoid of Reki doing another goddamn rape scene. So, but then, out in the heavens, we have that godly music. Oh, and in the sky is the goddess herself, best girl of all best girls of anime, Asuna Yuki, as she descends from the heavens like the goddess she is. Now, instead of me coming out here, telling you this scene, describing it, telling you guys how much I lost my shit. I'ma just show you. So here is pretty much me watching the ending of this episode. Enjoy.
Oh yeah, that's it. Oh God. Oh, oh yeah. 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 Yes. 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 Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. 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 Yes! 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 Oh God. Whew, gosh.
If you would like to see that with the anime clip added to it, check out my Twitter. Link down below. And if you guys are wondering, that clip right there is from the movie Debut. Shout out to any of y'all who remember those spoof movies from the early 2000s. Those were the shit. Especially Debut. I think that was probably my favorite. I love that movie. It's so fucking fun. I love it. Spoof movies are dumb, but I wish they would come back. We haven't like after Vampires Suck back in like 2008. They have pretty much been dead. It's been a dead genre, which kind of sucks, but hey, you know, whatever. So, that is pretty much the end of my review, guys. Austin came out, finally. Badass entrance. Awesome stuff. Yeah, there's not much more I can say other than I love the animation here on Gabriel's bro when he says, the KOB's lightning flash, and then you see a close up on his eye before he just descends into the darkness of the ground he was in. So yeah, overall, this episode was fucking amazing. Low key, I might say it's actually the best episode of SAO. I think this might actually be better than the Gabriel episode for no other reason than Austin. Low key, guys. So anyway, I'm ending here. Overall, I give this episode a 10 out of 10. Hyped to see what we got next week, because looks like we're going to see Austin versus Alice. So that's going to be some hot shit, boys. We eatin'! So yeah, expect another reaction to that last. If you guys want to know what I actually thought of Austin's debut, finally making her dramatic entrance, you guys can check out my reaction to this episode, which should be dropping a little bit later today after my review has already come out. So anyway, I'm ending here. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram, Tori Fleggett. Links down in the description box below. And as always, come out for more. See you guys next time.